Okay, so we'll be learning how to use the sine rule to solve real life problems involving this time finding the length of a side of a triangle. So remember when we had the area, we had side, side, and the angle in between. Here, we'll be looking at problems where we might be asked to find a side or an angle, etc. So let's see if there is a formula that we could use to help us with that. So we've seen that convention already. We put angles, capital letters, and opposite, we make it, maybe I should have put that slide before the area of a triangle, but there you go. ABC, remember for next time. Small letters will refer to distances and capital angles. That's why it's a revision really. We've just done that. Now, if you've got to label this, have a go, you would go
Sure.
opposite the angle.
Opposite, adjacent.
It becomes small letter, and then the distance. So basically angles, capital letter. The sine rule can be used with any triangle. So what do we need? Information to use it. So all the sides, if you look onto your formula sheet, you'll see something written like this. Small letter A, which is the side A, could be in centimeter, meter, kilometer, over the sine of that angle there. It's the same value. So when you do this fraction, A over sine A, you get the same value when you do B over sine B or when you do C over sine C. Okay, so let's say we've been given A, we've been given these two angles, we can figure out what B is, or we've been given A and B and we've been given sine B, we can then find what sine A is. So, example, find the length of A in this triangle. So I've got 10 meter for that side, so that's going to be small c. I've been asked to find A, so I've got small c and the angle. So we said that c over sine 34 is the same as small a over sine 41. So we can decide to go like that by matching them up using the formula a over sine a equal b over sine b equals c over sine c. Remember, you don't need to put the wee degree sign there. If you do it for every one of them. So I'll fix that, I'll remove that. So question mark is what we're looking for.
Yeah.
And what do we have? We have the angle A, so sine A, we can calculate it. We've got small c, and we've got the angle associated with C. So we don't need B over sine B. So now we're going to write A over sine 41 equal 10 over sine 34. Remember, at the end of the day, what I'm looking for is for A. So if you've got a number, let's say we had x divided by 2. To get rid of the divide, what did we do? We multiply, the opposite of dividing. So you need to multiply by sine 41 both sides to get rid of that sine 41. Remember, at the end of the day, sine 41 is just a value. When you type it on your calculator, you get a value. So to get rid of that value, you need to time that by that value both sides. And then you end up with 10 sine 41 divided by sine 34. And you plug that in your calculator, and that is 10 times 0.656 divided by 0.559. With 2 decimal places, you get 11.74 meter. Okay, so if you had done this calculation and you got 1.174 meter, you need to ask yourself this question. Because you've got 10 meter here, remember that it's not going to be 1 if you have these kind of angles there. Okay, so a quick way to quickly check if your value makes kind of sense, okay? So that's us. We've used the sine rule to find the side. In this question here, we've been asked to find the length of D. So I've got small c.
Sorry,
I've got,
Adrian, do you mind going back a slide just for a second? I just need to write the last little bit.
that's
Thank
fine,
you.
yeah. So yeah, to rearrange it, you just need to time by sine 41 both sides. So if you were to show all your working, for example, you would say here, I'm going to do time 41. So you time by sine 41 here on this side, and you time by sine 41 this side. And that will mean sine 41 divided by sine 41 is 1. 1a, we write it as a, and that's how you get your answer. Okay? Are we okay with this now?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
No worries. So find the length of D. So I'm looking for D. I've got sine D. I've got C and sine C. So you can just decide to say, okay, what have I got? I've got D and sine D, and I've got small c and sine C. So if you were to write all this, D over sine D, which one we're going to use? We're just going to get rid of the E because we've got nothing about E. We don't have the side opposite to angle. So get rid of that. Start writing down what we've got. 10 over sine 37. So to get rid of sine, you time by sine 133 both sides. That's how. And remember what we said, we want to make sure that the equation is always balanced. What we do on one side, we do on the other side. So D is 10 sine 133 divided by sine 37, 2 decimal places, 12.14 meter. Okay, so yeah, I would write here 2 dp if that's what we've decided to do.
See, rearranging, so for D, see in the top line of that, where it's like 10 sine 133, and then the next part, just below, at the next part, you've got 10 times 0.731. Is that because you work out sine 133 first before timesing it by 10, or can you just do in your calculator times sine 133 and then just cut out that next bit?
Yeah, you can write here 7.31.
That's what I'm saying. Do you need to
No, you do.
show that, or can you cut that?
No, you can cut all this. You can write what your calculator gave you. This is more
Right, okay.
to show step by step what we did, but
Okay.
you don't have to. This would definitely be a calculator question anyway. You can go straight from there to that answer without giving that. You're not going to lose a mark, no.
Okay.
Okay. The only thing that might happen is if, for example, you were losing if this was given as a mark and you've made a mistake by typing something,
Yeah.
let's say instead of 133 you type by mistake a 143, then the guy would have seen straight away what happened there, and he might be more lenient because it's a typo. Whereas if you go straight from there to there, he's not going to see where you've made the wee mistake, for example. But again, that's maybe just 1 mark, to be honest. You either get it or not. There's no half mark in math, unfortunately. So find the unknown side in each of these triangles. So we're just going to do like what we've done. We have A here. We're going to call that B if you want. We've got little b. So first thing first, A over sine 32 equal B, which is 12 over sine 72. So you can go like that straight away. Then that means by timing by sine 32 both sides, A is just 12 sine 32
Sine 72.
divided by sine 72. And if you do that in your calculator, what do you get? So again, when you do this, use your fraction sign, type 12 sine 32 at the top, do sine 72 at the bottom.
6.64885 to 1 decimal place, 6.7.
6.7. Yeah, because
Oh,
it's
just
6.8. Yeah, if you were to do 1 decimal point. So 1 decimal point would be 6.7, and it's in centimeter here. Okay, yeah, so you put 1 dp.
I know how to do it. I just clearly it's getting to that point in the day where it's just not helping me out.
So the best way not to mess that up is when you write it first time, if they ask you to do 1 decimal, you just go put 3 of them, for example, and just do dot, dot, dot.
Yeah.
When you see it written, you've got much less chance to make a mistake than trying to do it all over your head by looking at it in your calculator. I can guarantee that. And that way you know that you've got 8 here, you've got to round up to 6.7. Okay. So in this case here, we've been asked to find small b, so capital B is the opposite of it. So that's my angle. I'm going to call, you can call that A as well if you want, to be honest. I usually use A and B to make my life easier. So once again, A divided by sine 47 is equal to B. I don't need to write A, you can just say 16 divided by sine 47 is B divided by sine 93. Then B is just 16 sine 93 divided by sine 47. 16 sine 93
81.84.
divided by sine
16
47. Checking again. 21.847.
I think that's what I said.
Yeah. And then that just round to 21.8 millimeter. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is for you to practice. Copy and so instead of using A, B, C, they've used P, Q, and R. So remember, it's A over sine A, or P over sine P, Q over sine Q, and R over sine R. So now what do we have? What we don't have? So the bit that we don't have is that one there. So I can change the color. So that means you don't need to work with these. P over sine 70, so this is in degree, equal 20 over sine 80. Then this becomes 20 sine 70
over sine 80.
over sine 80. Very similar type exercise, but it's called the sine rule and it's in your formula list. So usually you'll see that they ask you to find a side. If they had given us the area, you would use the area of a triangle formula. If it's not an area and it's a side, and you've got a side and an angle and another angle, missing side, then you know you're going to probably use sine rule. So 20 sine 70.
I got 19.08.
About 18.91.
Answers to three significant figures. 0.84.
19, so that would be 19.083. Remember, when you do dot, 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 you don't need to round anything. You don't have to. If you put 19.084, you need to say this is rounded to 3 decimal place. So now, if I just want to round to 1 decimal place, now that becomes 19.1. And I'm going to write 1 decimal place. Okay.
18.91. I don't know what's going on. Not like
So
I'm far off.
sine 70 divided by sine
Yeah.
80. So maybe you've done sine 80 divided by sine 70 or
I don't
something.
know. I did if I had done 12 instead of.
Oh,
But
instead of 20.
It says at the top, answer to three significant figures.
All right. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. Instead of 1 decimal place. So I was lucky that 1 decimal place was 3 significant figures.
Mhm.
So correct. Don't need to write that. So we're quite lucky here. That's what happened when you keep doing a lot of exercises one after another. You tend not to read. So I've got a bar at the top of my screen. Do you see the full page on yours?
Oh, yeah. See the full page.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because what I'm seeing is you are screen sharing and the time stop share. So I've got that bar that let me stop and start the record and everything. But
So
yeah,
you
if
don't-
it, yeah.
You don't see other people, Adrian. You can't see other people. Is that just your?
So
vision?
I can see people, but I've put that on the side there.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
I can make it smaller for the people, but the main bar is always at the top for me, so that I can stop sharing and etc. Yeah, it would have been better if it was a bar that hide itself automatically, but unfortunately, it's probably something I need to watch for whenever I do my slides. So another example here, I'll probably let you do this one next time. Conscious of time here. So calculating side using the sine rule. So exercise 26A, question 1 and question 4. And it's chapter 26, page 300 and 301. Okay. So let's see which one we're going to do together. And that means you can practice on your own time.
It's a shame none of this will be in the prelim because I quite like this.
You like, oh, the mini no, the mini prelim won't have these, but the other one in is that what did we say, 5 weeks time?
Yeah.
The other one in 5 weeks will definitely have some of these Unit 3 stuff in it.
The one in a few weeks' time when things open up, hopefully, like, will that include Unit 1, 2, and some of the
Yeah.
Unit 1 and right? Okay, so it's almost a full.
Yeah, it's to do because the SQA wants to use if to use those papers as assessment that was done during the year. You can't just go with one assessment at the end.
No.
Imagine if during that last assessment you get a real bad day, then your teachers can't go and pick something to pull you out of it and say, we've got some, assessment where this was done properly. So,
Will we
given
still get like a class assessment on just Unit 3 itself, or will it just be that
so
one? Yeah.
in between that March time and the day of the exam, remember we're going to do a lot of revisions.
Mhm.
So I'll do unit assessment revisions
Okay.
They're like level C, just to get you used to it. And then after having done that, because it's going to be fresh into you, we can go in class and do the unit assessments that way.
Yeah.
And then we'll do the unit assessment 3 as well and back that, and
Yeah.
then
So,
work on more past papers and level A type questions.
yeah, Samantha just asked, do we have a confirmed date, as I'll need to request work leave?
For the full for the 20, it's, what did we say, 25th of March?
25th.
That's just for the 1, 2, and 3 prelim.
Yeah,
Or 1, 2, and some of 3. But the other one will be like further down the line.
yeah, so that'd be in May time.
I
So
don't
there'll
know.
be one in March and one in May. And in between, we'll come back to do the unit assessment like we did back in December. Was it December or end of November, beginning of
It
December?
was November into December, yeah, it was end of
Yeah.
November.
So
Yeah.
we will have days where we're going to come back that way.
All of our stuff will be at night, won't it?
Yeah.
Or,
Most
yeah.
of, apart from the last exam, I think it's because it's going to be a paper from the SQA, you guys going to have to do, it's the same as if you had a proper 4th of May exam,
Mhm.
then it has to be given all at the same time. And the teachers can't be invigilators either. So it's going to be properly done. So to be honest,
Okay.
they did say there's no exam, but
There
it's
is.
that?
pretty much, yeah,
How
it's
is
pretty
that? Yeah,
much
doesn't really
exam,
make
but
sense.
yeah. If you,
They said there was an exam, so why would they have invigilators and the
yeah,
whole shoot match? But I don't get that.
the only difference is it's your teacher who's going to mark you.
So the paper's not done externally, it's done in-house.
Everything is
Wow.
done internally. So at the end
Right.
of the day, they've given the teacher much more work because we need to do not only
Yeah.
mark, but we need to cross-reference the marking. So you can't have a teacher marking hard a
Mhm.
class when
Yeah.
the other 200 students in that same college have been marked by someone else. So there'll be cross-references marking.
Is that why teachers and or invigilator, no, not invigilator, markers now are getting a 2-day allocation for our teachers in secondary
Yeah.
schools?
So
They're getting 2 days,
yeah, exactly. Because remember, when I've got to mark my advanced higher paper, it's going to be 2 or 3 hours because I've never done it. Folks that are used to do it, they do it very quickly. If you've got 20 pupils in your class, you're talking at least 60 hours of marking just doing that and doing it properly, because then someone will have to counter mark you.
Yeah. It's
And
time.
so it's time consuming, plus you want to be fair to those students. And the thing is, because the paper might be scanned so that they'll remove the names. So it's just to try and make it fairer in a way. Anyway, find the size. So we've done something similar. So let's pick something else. We'll try and do something. Yeah. So we've got T. This is again very similar. They're all very much the same, to be honest. Oh, this is, yeah, let's do F. F is interesting because I've got the side, but I don't have the angle associated with it.
Mhm.
So how do I find that angle?
Well, it's 180 for a triangle, so you'd need to add
There you
your
go.
87 and 53.
Yeah. So this question here will have an extra mark because you need to find that angle there. And if we call that angle, so if this is F, this is capital F. If this is small g, we're going to call it capital G. So the first thing first, G angle is 180, take away 87 plus 53. So that'll give you an extra mark. So 180, take away 87 plus
40.
53. Yeah, 40 degree. Thank you. Now that I've got my angle, I know that 17 or F divided by 50 sine 53. I'm going to use my sine rule. is the same as 17 divided by sine 40,
Mhm.
which is exactly what we've been doing on all of them. This one is the same actually. E, you need to find that angle.
Yeah.
And then F is just 17 sine 53. Who told me at the start? Oh, I never liked trig. Trig is very easy once you know your way or what you're looking for, once you know the basics. Trig just means, yeah, trig means three. You work with
No
three
bother
angles
complex.
and three sides. So it's not that difficult.
No.
I guess once you know the ropes and what you need to put in and how to, yeah, this basic stuff, like sum of all angles. So that's a good one to remember.
Well, I did say 5 minutes ago that I liked this, so
There you
for the
go.
change of parts.
Things can change very fast.
Yeah. So I've got 21.12.
17 ... So did they ask us to give it to a specific? So let's see. Give your answer 3 significant figures. So I'm just going to stop. It's a bit like 1 decimal place. So 1, 2, 3. So if that 2 was a 5 or over, I would need to round that to a 3, right? So
Yeah,
21.1, and it's centimeter with 3 significant figure. Okay, like I said, it's always good to put it. I know that was the question there, but let's say for some reason I was tired and I only read, I thought I needed 4 and I put 4. The marker might give you the mark if you got the 4 correctly. If I had put 21.12 and put this is 4, even if the question, remember it's going to be your teachers marking you, not the invigilate, not the professional markers. Professional markers probably going like boom, 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 not even thinking twice, right? But because it's your teachers, they're probably going to accept it because they'll discuss anything with other teachers. And if the other teachers are happy to say, yeah, that person wrote it, so we'll give it the mark. Okay? Just so that you know. Here, give your answer to 3. A helicopter from helipad A then needs to land at helipad B. So basically, yeah, we're looking for that. I've got an angle.
And the same again, 62 plus 38.
Yeah, exactly. So you need to find that angle first. What is this? And then that's you. You've got x. X divided by sine this is 3.2 divided by sine this.
Yep.
Now we're getting used to it. Now you can do real life problems. So you've got a helicopter. We want to know how far these 2 points are.
I hate when my 2 helicopters are far away from each other.
So I'll leave you with these questions so you can do them. So the second sine rule, there's only one sine rule, but this time we're learning how to solve problem involving finding an angle. So we've looked at finding a side, very similar, but this time you might be asked to find an angle. Okay, so you've got a side, angle, you've got a side, but this time the angle is missing. So that's what we are looking at basically. So it's just rearranging. So you would write side, angle, A of a sine A is B of a sine B, C of a sine C. So remember this is small c. I better put it in white. So this is your side C. This is your side A. This is C, and we're looking for A. So you just write what you've got, what you're looking for, what you don't need, and just rewrite it. 45 of a sine A. Where's that 45 coming from?
Molly.
Oh, 45 meter, yeah, sorry. equal 38 divided by sine 23. So you rearrange this. Remember what you need to do. You need to time by sine A both sides. So you would time by sine A both sides. You would get what we were having earlier on. After having done that, you'll get 45 equal 38 sine A divided by sine 23. Yeah. Then you would time by sine 23 both sides. That will give you 45 sine 23. And then because you've got that time 38, you need to divide by 38 both sides. So anything that is divide, you multiply. Anything that is multiply, you divide. Okay? And you end up with sine A equal 45 sine 23 divided by 38. That is a value. So if you calculate that, you will get 0.463. So what are they asking us to find is the angle. How do I get rid of a sine? Remember when we were doing cos x equal a half? What did we do to find x in your calculator?
Do negative
Cos, yeah, inverse cos basically. So in your calculator, if you do shift cos, this time you're going to do shift sine, and that should give you your answer.
27.58.
58. So yeah, one decimal place. Yeah, you'll find out most of the time when you're going to give like angles, people tend to round them to one decimal place. Because just think about it, if you use a protractor.
Yeah.
Let's say you were working on a sheet or something. If you give like 27.635, there'd be no way someone can pinpoint to 1,000 of them of an angle. Okay, so one decimal place is usually more than enough. So this time we've been asked to find the big angle there. So technically this should have been bigger than that. Come on. Angles, we say.
Should be sacked. That's terrible.
I know, it's quite bad. Need to see it again. So small y.
Yep.
Small x. I'm going to use x divided by sine x. So 38 divided by sine x equal 75 divided by sine 143. So we're not going to bother about z because nothing has been asked about them. And then we're going to rearrange that by timing by sine x both side, and then divide by 75, and then timing by sine 143. And that's your answer there, which is 0.305. You do shift sine of 0.305, and you get your value, 17.8. That's you. And that's how you find an angle. So I've got a couple of examples for you to work on. So we're going to do the first one. Technically, you would do A here, small a. You can call that B if you want, and small b. So 8.9, this is how you would do your working. Divided by sine A equal 14.5 divided by sine 100. Going to time by sine A both side. And then after that, we're going to isolate sine A. Sine A itself is going to be 8.9 sine 110 divided by sine by 14.5. I'm running out of space there. So 8.9 sine 110 divided by 14.5, 0.576. So again, a quick way for you to know if you're doing something right or not. So 5.577, I'm going to round it to 3 decimal place. If you get a number here bigger than 1, you've made somewhere a mistake, okay? You need to look at it. You might have got the 14.5 at the top. Go back. Any sine or cosine of an angle, remember, we looked at the graphs. They are between 0 and 1 and 0 and -1. Can't go past those, okay? Then you do shift sine
-1.
of your answer. That's what's
Okay.
good about these Casio. You can just call the answer. Then I get 35.22. 35.22 or 35.2. What?
I get 35.239.
I get
Yeah.
that, so.
So this is 35.
Good improvising there.
Why not?
So what happened is probably the shift sign was done on a rounded number of 0.57. Let me see. Shift sign 0. So your calculators are good enough. No, it's a typo. Let's call it a typo. I'll fix that. Next. So I've got B, which is my angle that I'm looking for. This is small b. I'm going to call that A, and that's small a. So same exercise.
Yep.
So my answer should be shift sign of something. That something. So let me write that down. So 14.7 divided by sine b
And then
equal 12.9
over sine 14.
over sine 14.
Yeah. So sine b is 14.7 sine 14 divided by 12.9. So 14.7 times sine 14 divided by 12.9.
0.27.
Yeah. Now shift to sign that answer. And we should get 16.0. Yeah, 16. 16.0, 1 decimal place.
Yeah.
Or 16 degree, yeah.
Okay.
So dead on 16 degree with these values. Okay. So this is just to walk you through. Oh, this is the interesting bit. In this exercise, have you noticed so far all the angles that we've looked at, they were less than 90 degree. 16,
Oh yeah.
35.2.
Mhm.
17.8. Every single one that we did was less than 90, right? So that was the first one, 27. So sometime, so that's probably why I put that slide there. Sometime you'll be asked to find the size of an angle bigger. So that angle here is bigger than 90. And remember when we were looking at cast,
Yep.
you had sine here was positive here, but sine was positive here as well. And this here is less than 90, but the second angle here that we used to find was bigger than 90. And that is the obtuse angle. So once you find your angle, we'll call it alpha, you need to do 180, take away that angle to get the obtuse angle. And that's why cast is quite useful sometimes, because it shows you where they are and what you should be looking for. Because here I've got 40 divided by sine q equal 18 divided by sine 15. But if you type 40 sine 15 divided by, so 40 sine divided by 18, let me grab a different color.
0.575.
So you got 0.575,
75.
yeah? And now if you do shift sign of what you just got,
Gives you 35.11.
so 35.1 degree. So what did we say? That is alpha. But we want the obtuse angle, and the obtuse angle is at 180 take away 35.1. That's the only difficulty, the major difficulty that you find when you're going to look for the sine rule is to remember, if you look for an angle bigger than 90, and they'll tell you, find the obtuse. Once you find your answer, you need to do 180, take away that angle.
Okay. That gives you 144.9.
144.9, yeah. So that would be your answer now.
Well, I suppose even looking at that,
You could see that.
triangle, you could instantly, if you got 35, be thinking,
Yeah,
that's
where would that go?
like
That's
35
that.
degrees.
Yeah, that would probably be more likely to be this angle, but because we're looking for that angle, sine, we know it's positive not only in that angle, but with that angle, and that's the one bigger than 90. Then that's how you would say, oh, okay, now I know. It's got to be 180 minus. So it all comes to being able to interpret a trig graph, being able to read a cast diagram, for example, and that means you can solve this problem. So all these chapters or topics that we've looked at, they've got an order so that you always use, past knowledge in order to solve these problems.
Yep.
Okay. And homework 3, 26A, question 2 and question 3, page 301. So that means we've done area of triangle and sine rule. So let's have a look at which example we're going to do together. Just try and see how many we've got. Oh, we can do an obtuse if you want. Yeah. So let's do one of the obtuse one. That means you've got an idea. So we're going to do B. So how do we start with this? To make it easier, we are going to label them. Yeah, I think labeling is probably not a bad thing. So we're looking for that angle Y.
Why don't we do X, Y, and Z?
Yeah, So we can use X, Y, and Z if you want. So X, the only thing that I'm not too happy with is
Oh, X
we've
isn't
got a
going to.
small y here, but that's okay. So we've got, this is small x, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing we're going to write is x divided by sine 33 equal 31 divided by sine y. So x is 20, right? So I could have,
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is it not 20 over sine 33?
yeah. Just missing one step if you want. So 20 over sine 33 is the same as 31
Oops.
divided by sine y. So to rearrange this, we're going to time by sine y both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Then 20 sine y
Either side.
divided by sine 33 equals 31. Then we're going to time by sine 33 both sides. 20 sine y is equal to 31 sine 33.
Yeah.
Then we're going to divide by 20 both sides, and we've got sine y equal 31 sine 33
Over 20.
divided by 20.
And you get 0.844.
0.844. So remember what we said? If I just do y equal this, I'm going to get this y here. But look what they've asked us, find the obtuse angle. So rather than doing y, I'm going to do alpha first, because I know that y is here, is 180 minus alpha. So alpha is just inverse sine of 0.844. So what do you get for that?
57.56.
And now to get my y, it's just 180 to get the obtuse angle. Take away 57.56. And that
122.44.
122,
And you're only giving it to one decimal place.
yeah, 0.4, and you just put one decimal place. So that would be your obtuse angle basically.
How many marks for the question like that worth?
So that would be, so first of all, you need to apply the sine rule. So you get a mark for writing this correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get a mark for solving it, rewriting it as sine y equal that. Then you get a mark for finding the first angle. And you get a final mark to show that this is the obtuse. So most of it, it'll be like 3 marks.
Yeah.
But when they ask you for the obtuse, you get an extra mark because then you need to do 180, because you've got to give the obtuse angle as your solution. Because if you stop here, you either don't understand what an obtuse angle is, and that's why you're not going to get the last mark.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if you were to just make a wee mistake here, when you type that in your calculator and you get 0.725, it's a bit of a pain for whoever's marking you because he's going to have to do all your calculation after you. But you could just lose 1 mark. So you can still get 3 out of 4 by just making a small mistake.
Yep, as long as you're shown to know it's an obtuse angle and still do it.
Yeah, as long as here I got 132.4, for example, I would still get 3 out of 4 because I've only made my mistake by typing it. But if I type 0.877, for example, you're forcing now the marker to go and type in these calculators sine -1, and then he'll check that it's correct. So he'll give you the mark for that. And then he's going to do the 180, take away what you've written, and he's going to find out okay. And that's how you get the mark. But if you keep making mistake on every step, then you're not going to get the mark, right? Do you know what I mean? You can make a mistake, but as long as what you do after is correct based on your mistake, you get the mark. Okay. Whereas if it was physics, you make a mistake, bang, they stop right there. If it was 5 marks and you made a mistake after the first one, you get 1, even if everything you did after was correct. And that's why it's harder to get a degree in physics than you would get in maths, for example. Okay. So this is very similar. Find the obtuse. You got angle. Yeah, very similar. And we'll do this next week. Okay.
Yeah.
So next week we'll do another trig 1, cosine rule. Oh no, next week I've got a mini prelim for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll let you do the mini prelim and I'll give you feedback onto it.
Okay.
Just means the week after we're gonna have to kind of push a wee bit to get the cosine rule in. And after that we've got fraction and percentages, I think.
See, once we do the mini prelim, will we get the results? Like, should we be getting them within that week? Or do we
Yeah.
have a class to go over the
So
questions?
within
Or
the week, what I'll do is within a week, the following week for about an hour and a half, we'll go through it
okay,
and I'll point, okay, this is how we could have done this quicker, or this is what I found most of the folks were having misconceptions on and stuff like that.
okay,
But after that, we need to try and catch up a wee bit in time because I think fractions we're okay. Percentages, we've done a few starters with a bit of percentages. I've put them, but it's good to have that. And then the last lesson, I just want to have a week before, like a week revision on all the unit 1, 2, and 3, like we've done.
Yeah.
Before you get your prelim in school. Okay, but again, it could be pushed to beginning of April. No, you've got 2 weeks in April.
There's 2
You
weeks
won't.
holiday then as well, but
Yeah, so I think that's probably why they want to do this March thing. They
times.
pushed it right up to the year before the, because after April, it's going to be very close to the May.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tight.
Yeah, I just realized you've got 2 weeks of holidays where you're going to be revising for the final exam then. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
will we be taking the 2 weeks holiday, or will we do like what we done it?
We can do, yeah, we can do an hour and a half or something every week just to go through a few things, whoever is available.
It's because, I mean, if you're changing the whole exam diet, you know, like you have that whole month, that whole window, and you don't really now, essentially. You have to have it all back and grades determined before the end of June, maybe before then, you know, so it's pretty
Yeah, so I know
pretty
that
tight.
they don't want to leave it too late, because otherwise between the marking and the cross
Yeah,
marking
it's all going to get done
and
before.
SQA validation, that's, I think, yeah, the whole months of May is going to be mayhem for the teachers that are marking,
Yeah. Yeah.
because
see
this
how
was all
people
done
usually-
professionally.
See how
Yeah.
people usually get their exam results on, was it the 4th or 5th of August?
Yeah, you won't get that.
They'll be waiting until then to get our results.
But yeah, probably it's going to be, because then the teacher will
Oh.
send all that back to SQA. SQA will still do the same thing. You
Mhm.
know, they've got to put them into their marking. So unless, yeah, you're still going to get the paper the same way.
Yeah.
And
It's
at the same
different.
and at the same time, remember, we need to try and put some time in between to do our unit assessments. So it's going to be
Yeah.
quite tight. But remember, I think we can, I've seen unit assessment done after the exam. when the exam used to be 4th of May, the college is still open till June or something, mid-June.
Mhm.
So you can still come back after your final exam to do your unit assessments if you've not
Okay.
had the chance to do them.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen folks coming back for that.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, because that's internal. But then, yeah, you're right. We need to send it to SQA, then they'll type it all in. But for them, it's not a gauging factor. Okay, guys.
But you'll not be able to tell us what our grade is before
So
August?
I could probably let you know what I've put forward, but that's going to be before we have, because we're going to have like a meeting with all the teachers,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to have to justify every
you
one
give.
of them, because I'm going to
Mhm.
have the head of the department there as well, looking
Yeah.
at it. So imagine if suddenly the head of department will be there to kind of be the first gate before he goes to SQA. And if he sees that for some reason this year has been a particularly very, very good year, he's going to have to drill down because he's going to be drilled after.
Yeah.
But if we come back and all say, yeah, these people done this, we did the mini prelim, we did this, then he'll just going to accept it.
Yeah.
And that was the problem that happened last time. A lot of things got accepted, but then SQA came back and said no, without
Yeah,
doing
that's
any
why there's
checks. Yeah, they run some
Yeah.
algorithm that started knocking folks, but then it got reverted back, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
All right.
so costly for us. I don't think we'll know maybe till August. I would imagine.
It
Officially.
depends. Yeah, I could.
Officially.
I'll be able to say what I've
Yeah.
put up, and if that doesn't
Yeah.
get changed, then it'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's it's a bit of reassuring before you come into August. You know, actually, it's you don't
Yeah.
have to wait. Well, you know that you don't have to wait, but you sort of have an indication of what your lecturer or teachers put forward for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, the department will tell us when we can say or when we can't say, or in case things get
Yeah.
changed. The
I was going to say,
department
John,
will
I
tell
wonder
us.
they would let you then change your UCAS.
Possibly that'll all have to come into consideration. Remember when the deadline was changed, there'll be
I know. That's what I was just thinking about.
clearing stuff will all be pushed possibly in that, you know, so
Then
it's
your
all going to
grade
be
your pending grade then wouldn't be pending, so you might
it's tough. We need that validated, and then before you know it, that takes time, and
I know.
so I don't know. It depends. Turnaround's going to be like with the SQA. Who knows? Do you know what I mean? It's all still. Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Yep.
But I don't think it'd be as bad as what it was last time, because last
Yeah,
time
no.
was
No,
I had
it's
said
just-
things to some of my students and they came back and I was quite surprised. Someone get knocked from an A to a C and they looked at me and said,
yeah,
and I went, no, I didn't put that.
very hard. Very hard to
So,
deal with.
That happened to me in school actually. I was predicted a D and I got an A in the exam.
all right.
Seriously?
It was like
I've
it was
done
the
that
opposite
about
way.
proving the opposite as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a tutor for biology. I hated the teacher and I just
Aye.
didn't really listen to her. And I had a tutor on the side and I got an A in the exam and she was like, let me see that. But let me see.
See,
That felt
it
good.
can be done, but now it's
Yeah.
in the hands of the SQA. Well, to some degree, it is now in the hands of the SQA. It's not just down to a piece of paper. It's they will decide
Yeah.
after seeing what you produce from school, what you're getting, and it's quite. I don't know. I think it's just the way it is, isn't it? With COVID being what it is, and